Hello, everyone. Today's narrative arrives via a viewer's submission, so let's begin exploring her profound journey. My name is Emma, and what I'm about to disclose will shake everything you thought you understood regarding life, death, and our spiritual calling. On April 10th, 2024, my entire existence transformed forever. What began as a simple, ordinary day twisted into me dying momentarily, glimpsing a dimension beyond this reality. But the real shock wasn't just witnessing paradise. It was what Christ disclosed about Black individuals and their sacred purpose. I was sent back carrying an urgent message to share. This is my testimony of what I saw, comprehended, and why it holds deep significance. It was a tranquil Tuesday morning, the sun rising slowly, bathing the sky in gentle shades of lavender and gold. I relished the quiet, sipping herbal tea while gazing out as the neighborhood began to awaken peacefully. Things seemed to unfold as usual, or so I assumed at the time. I had a list of chores, grabbing groceries from the corner store, posting letters at the mail office, swinging by my cousin's small apartment. Nothing remarkable or out of routine. I remember driving down a peaceful street lined with ancient oaks, singing along to a beloved melody on the radio, when disaster struck fast and fierce. Abruptly, a huge truck plowed through a traffic light. No time to dodge, no second to prepare. The crash thundered, a fierce cacophony of metal twisting, glass splintering, my sedan flipping like a rag doll in a violent gale. My last thought, this can't be. Then, all faded to blank. At first, I assumed I'd simply passed out, but a strange feeling persisted. I was conscious, alert, yet free from my shattered body. I floated above the twisted debris, staring down at my limp figure sprawled amidst the chaos. It was bizarre, almost otherworldly, seeing paramedics rush to my broken shell, their voices tense with frantic urgency. I should have been terrified, pulse pounding wildly, but instead a deep serenity enveloped me, as if I'd always known this shift was coming. Then, the world blurred. Noises of alarms and cries softened into distant whispers. The turmoil faded away, silently. Darkness took hold, not harsh or foreboding, but expansive and soothing, drawing me gently into a place vast beyond imagining. When I left my frame, I expected dread to seize me, but peace washed over me instead. It felt like stepping through a hidden gate into a domain ever-present yet unseen by human eyes. Initially, darkness surrounded me, not empty or lifeless, but brimming with depth and mystery, as if a quiet force lingered beyond my reach, poised in patient waiting. I wasn't alone. A subtle tug guided me forward, like an invisible thread pulling me gently through the stillness. The air, if it was air at all, hummed with energy, dense yet uplifting, vibrating with something I'd name life itself, pulsing with unseen potential. Then suddenly, the shadows split apart before me. A spark flared, small at first, then blooming into a dazzling, radiant glow. It wasn't just light. It lived, radiating comfort and pure affection, wrapping me in a warm embrace like a long-lost reunion with a cherished soul. As I approached, I didn't walk or glide. I simply moved, the void shifting to bear me onward through an endless expanse. A presence swelled, immense beyond words, yet intimate as my own heartbeat. I knew in my depths I faced the divine. My thoughts stretched, no longer solitary, woven into a greater tapestry of existence. A voice sounded, resonant, powerful, yet tender as a whisper. "Emma, you've come to see." It didn't echo around me. It flowed within, saturating every part of my being with unshakable clarity. This wasn't a dream or trick of the mind. I'd entered a realm past mortal bounds, eternal and undeniably true. As I ventured deeper into this strange, boundless existence, I noticed time itself dissolved. No before, no after. Only an endless, now stretching infinitely in all directions. I drifted yet felt anchored, suspended yet steady, the surroundings rippling like fluid light, orderly and serene in its ceaseless flow. Then it struck me. I wasn't solitary. Forms emerged, silhouettes of brilliance, glowing softly in the far distance, not human in shape, but not alien either. Their essence somehow known to me, familiar as an old memory. I sensed their gaze upon me, not stern or judging, but calm and patient, as if they'd awaited my arrival with quiet, unshakable certainty. One drew near, its form indistinct yet radiating wisdom, serenity, and a peace too vast to fathom or describe. It didn't speak aloud. Understanding flowed into me, pure, unspoken insight, clear as thought itself. "You're ready to behold," it conveyed without words, a message of intent. With that, the expanse shifted dramatically, shadows peeling back to unveil a sight beyond mortal grasp. I saw Earth not as a mere globe of rock and water, but a web of shimmering threads, vibrant hues unknown to mortal sight, linking souls, places, and fleeting hopes in intricate patterns. Prayers rose like streams of light, some bold and strong, others dimming before their aim. Then, a rift appeared, a fierce clash of radiance and void, an ancient strife older than time itself, pulsing with power. Suddenly, the glow gathered, forming a figure my spirit knew instantly. It was Jesus, undeniable and near, present in overwhelming truth. He wasn't merely a shape or a vision from ancient tales. He was more real than anything I'd ever touched or felt. Jesus didn't just stand before me. His presence saturated everything around us, vast and boundless. Yet he focused on me alone, as if I were the sole being in all of creation's expanse. His eyes weren't ordinary. They held endless depths, stars swirling within their infinite gaze, brimming with a love so vast and pure I felt utterly seen, yet wholly cherished beyond measure. "Emma," he said, and my essence trembled, hearing my name spoken anew, alive with purpose and meaning. I sank to my knees, not forced but drawn by his radiant majesty, my spirit yielding in reverent awe. "You've been brought here for a purpose," he spoke, his voice a soothing balm to every hidden wound I'd ever carried. Words failed me entirely, but none were needed. He knew my every wonder, every unspoken fear. Then he lifted his hand slowly, and the realm pulsed with energy, vivid scenes weaving into being like living threads of light. "Look," he urged gently, and I sensed what followed would shatter all I'd once held as true. As Jesus raised his hand, the space around us quivered and transformed, unveiling a reality so vivid and breathtaking, it defied all I'd ever known or imagined possible. It was as if the cosmos itself parted before me, revealing a realm of pure, radiant luminescence, surpassing anything a human mind could hope to dream or conceive. Colors danced, sharp, deep, and utterly alive, swirling in intricate patterns that sang with celestial harmony across the boundless expanse. The air thrummed with an unshakable peace, yet sparked with a vitality beyond naming, electric and serene all at once. I saw forms, not built of stone or wood like earthly things, but crafted from light itself, glowing structures alive with purpose and intent, woven into perfect unity with their luminous surroundings. Streams of golden essence flowed through the expanse, not mere water, but a vibrant current of wisdom, life, and sacred truth, shimmering as they carved winding paths through the boundless void. I turned to Jesus. His face shone with boundless tender love, urging me to see past my earthly limits and grasp the infinite before me. This realm wasn't distant from us. It touched Earth, closer than breath, a place we're meant to join even while still alive in flesh. As I marveled at this profound revelation, beings appeared, radiant as blazing suns, their forms pure, pulsating energy. Some stood tall like mighty sentinels, fierce and unwavering, guarding this holy timeless ground with resolute strength. Others pulsed with ancient boundless knowledge, their presence a quiet testament to eternity's unfathomable depth. These were angels, God's emissaries, watching us, not with judgment or disdain, but with deep, expectant care, as if they'd always known I'd come to this pivotal moment. Standing before Jesus felt like facing eternity itself. He wasn't just a figure of light, but its very source, undeniable and alive. His presence wasn't merely seen, it coursed through me, touching every corner of my soul with a warmth that soothed my deepest fears. His voice didn't just reach my ears, it resonated deep within, a melody of strength and gentleness that words can't hold. He extended his hand, and instantly every weight I'd borne, every sorrow, every doubt, every silent ache melted away, leaving me bare yet whole in his piercing gaze. Nothing escaped him. He saw me fully, every flaw and hope, yet loved me without limit. "Emma," he said, "I've summoned you here to witness, to understand, and to carry this truth back to my people." I quaked, not from fear, but from awe's overwhelming tide. "What must I do, Lord?" I thought, voiceless yet heard by him. He gazed at me, eyes alight with timeless depths and grace. "Tell them what awaits and who they truly are," he answered, his words a sacred charge etched into my being. Then the air shifted once more, alive with purpose, signaling the task ahead. As Jesus spoke, visions unfolded before me like a shimmering tapestry of light. I saw Earth not as a physical sphere of rock and sea, but as a vast, intricate lattice of energy, pulsing with motion, intent, and unseen life. Every life sown, every deed cast, every whisper of thought sent ripples through this hidden weave, binding all in delicate, glowing strands. I saw faith, love, and mercy fortify the radiant glow, while hate, fear, and strife fed shadows that gnawed relentlessly at its fragile edges. Jesus raised his hand again, and time unfurled before me. History laid bare, not as mere events, but as a dance of spirits rising and falling through ages, each leaving echoes in the eternal fabric of existence. Prayers of the steadfast soared upward, their light stretching far beyond generations into timelessness. Then Jesus turned to me, his gaze piercing with solemn purpose. "Emma, many have lost sight of their sacred roots, but I'm here to call them back." He revealed a marvel, black people, radiant with an inner fire unlike any other, standing distinct in this spiritual realm. They bore a rare, unquenchable vitality, a bond with the divine that burned fierce and steady through all trials. Their prayers blazed bright, cutting through thick darkness, forging paths of hope where none stood before. I saw their faith shift unseen mountains, their trials, centuries of chains, tears, and unrelenting pain, met with unyielding, resilient spirit. Jesus said, "They are chosen for a holy task, carrying resilience and insight forged from ages past, though the world has sought to dim their flame and bury their truth beneath lies." A heaviness gripped my heart. How many had been taught they were less, convinced their worth was a cruel lie, when they were shaped by divine hands for greatness. "They must reclaim this," Jesus said, "for they are my warriors, my voice, my light piercing a shadowed, broken world. I stood silent, absorbing this profound truth, not mere history, but a divine summons pulsing with eternal weight. Black people bore a calling the enemy had fought to crush with relentless, ruthless intent across centuries. Jesus continued, his tone thick with both grief and unyielding fire. The world has tried to break them, not just in flesh with chains, but in soul with lies, claiming they're weak when I declare them mighty, calling them unworthy when I name them mine own. Visions flared before me, black ancestors lifting fervent prayers, their cries weaving radiant shields over lineage yet unborn, a legacy of hope. I saw their endurance against impossible, crushing odds, faith a steady, unquenchable flame against engulfing night. Every lash, every chain, every tear shed honed them into unbreakable strength. The enemy fears their power, Jesus revealed, for they carry a sacred might, a mantle set upon them before time began. They are warriors of light, and they must rise. I felt his urgency deep within. The world had cloaked their glory in deceit, but their awakening would shatter its falsehoods and reclaim their truth. His words ignited a fierce urgency I couldn't ignore. The world had veiled a truth so vital, convincing many they were forsaken and abandoned, when in reality they were a force ordained by God to lead in these final, pivotal hours of destiny. They must awaken, Jesus urged. Their hour is upon us now. Standing in his radiant presence, I felt a tie not just to him, but to something ancient and unbroken, echoing through time's vast, uncharted expanse like a sacred thread. Then he unveiled a vision, a lineage of souls stretching back beyond mortal sight, faces etched with steely resolve, eyes aglow with unyielding, steadfast faith, burning bright. These were black ancestors, their voices rising in fervent prayer, calling to God with a passion that shook the unseen realm and stirred its boundless depths. I saw mothers shielding their young with whispered, tearful pleas, fathers beseeching safety for their kin under starlit skies, elders swaying in quiet, soulful hymns, their songs a mighty fortress around their heirs yet to come. Each prayer lived on, weaving through countless eras, shaping destinies none could foresee or fathom with human sight. Jesus turned to me, his voice steady and resolute. Their faith has never faltered, no matter the crushing burdens heaped upon them, no matter the world's ceaseless efforts to strip their spirit bare. They've clung to me with unwavering trust. Chains snapped, both iron forged by man and ethereal binds of despair, as faith held them firm through slavery's brutal scourge, tyranny's suffocating weight, and justice cruelly denied across generations. Every cry of anguish, every song of praise, every lifted hand wove a legacy of unshakable might, a shield unbroken by time's passage. This is their birthright, Jesus said, and it must not fade into silence or be lost to oblivion. Jesus' words sank deep into my core. If black people held such a divine tie to the eternal, why had suffering shadowed their path so relentlessly across the ages? He met my questioning gaze, and clarity struck like a sudden dawn piercing the haze. The enemy dreads what they bear, he said, and has waged a ceaseless, cunning war to snuff it out. A vision flared before me. Black lives scattered across continents, bound by chains, and battered through time's cruel march. Yet in the spirit realm, each wound was a deliberate strike at their holy, unshakable calling. They're meant to heal with grace, to lead with wisdom, to stand firm as pillars of light, Jesus declared. But the enemy twists fear, division, and falsehood into weapons to chain their spirits. I saw systems rise with ruthless, calculated intent, poverty's grinding wheel, violence's sharp, unrelenting sting, prejudice's heavy, suffocating weight, all crafted to break their radiant light. Yet they shone still, a strength the world couldn't quench or comprehend. Even in the darkest, most forsaken hours, Jesus said, some held fast, praying through the fiercest storms with unbroken resolve. Their pleas rose, a towering bulwark against ruin's tide, never fully pierced by despair's relentless assault. Now they must see, he urged with quiet, piercing intensity. Their truth awaits reclaiming. Another sight emerged, prayers streaming like rivers of light, some faint and flickering under strain, others blazing with fervent power, the strongest flowing from those forged in fire, unwavering in their faith despite all odds. These prayers, Jesus said, are why the enemy's grip falters and fails. I saw humble gatherings in dim-lit rooms, voices lifted in soulful, defiant song, lone souls kneeling in shadow's embrace, each plea a shield for generations, a power unbroken by despair's grasp. I saw modest chapels alive with fervent worship, voices united in soaring hymns that pierced the heavy air with hope, solitary figures bent in quiet, steadfast faith amid gloom. Each prayer a sharp blade, forging an unseen armor safeguarding souls across time's expanse. Many have drifted, Jesus said, lured by this world's clamor and hollow noise, their hearts dulled. They must turn back to prayer's deep, living root. He showed me the stark, harrowing cost of neglect, communities fraying at the seams, spirit walls crumbling into dust, shadows seeping through gaps once held firm by unwavering devotion. It's not ritual or empty rote, he said, but communion with God, alignment with a purpose, eternal and unyielding. His voice grew sharp, urgent with a holy weight that pressed upon me. They must awaken and pray like never before. Then a vision gripped me tight, a war raging now, light clashing fiercely with darkened realms unseen to mortal eyes, a battle beyond the veil. At first it baffled me, cities cloaked in a thick, oppressive haze, yet beneath the surface, forces moved, sly and veiled, whispering insidious lies, sowing seeds of discord, feeding despair's ravenous, unrelenting hunger. This isn't mere flesh and blood, Jesus said. It's a spiritual fray, tearing at the soul's core. I watched some yield to gloom, anger flaring wild like untamed fire, hope fading into ash, faith cast aside, unwittingly strengthening the dark's hold with every surrender. But then bright points flared like defiant beacons, places where prayer held strong, faith unbowed and resolute, pushing back the encroaching tide, carving havens of radiant light amid chaos and ruin. This is prayer's might, Jesus said. This is why they must rise anew. A chill took me. Dark shapes hunted black souls with precision, aiming to blind them to their divine calling, striking mind with doubt, heart with sorrow, body with pain, and spirit with chains, all with calculated, relentless fury. Yet amid this onslaught, I saw figures rise, some unaware of their sacred mantle, yet stirred within by a spark growing into a fierce flame. They must claim their ground, Jesus urged, his tone resolute and unwavering. They must stand tall and bold. His eyes burned with love and unshakable command. Tell them, Emma, time dwindles fast. Those words thundered through every fiber of my being. Black people must seize their rightful place, must rise with boldness and unyielding resolve to fulfill their destiny. I felt a weight settle upon me, not crushing but solemn and profound. A duty born of their sacred call, long shrouded by a world bent on suppression and erasure of their radiant essence. I saw them stand tall, shedding fear's heavy chains like brittle rust, doubt's thick fog lifting from their weary minds, stepping into purpose with eyes alight with revelation, as if recalling their true, eternal selves, at last after centuries of enforced silence. Jesus faced me, his gaze unwavering, yet kind, piercing through all pretense with a quiet, unshakable power that held me fast. They've been refined through fire's relentless sting, shaped by struggle's unyielding hand. Now their time dawns like a new sun, breaking night's long hold. The world will turn to them for guidance through chaos unending, for courage in despair's depths, for faith unshaken by storms. Visions flashed before me, black leaders of old wielding words like sharpened swords to cleave injustice, healers with hands of tender grace, soothing wounds, warriors of spirit who shifted history's tide through unwavering trust in God. From ancients fleeing bondage with songs of deliverance, ringing to voices echoing hope in modern streets, all chosen to defy shadow's grasp, bearing a flame no force could dim or extinguish, despite relentless opposition. Yet many sleep, Jesus said, his tone heavy with both warning and a longing that ached. They must awaken to their strength, claim what's theirs by divine right and birthright. The vision shifted once more, communities knitting anew with fierce purpose, bonds mending where division once reigned supreme, faith swelling strong like a river, reborn from parched earth, youth rising with wisdom far beyond their tender years, wielding a power no lie could steal or tarnish. They weren't made to follow in silence or obscurity, he said, voice soft yet firm as bedrock beneath a storm, but to lead with authority and radiant truth. Time blurred in that boundless realm, its edges softening into a haze of light. But his next words marked its end with stark, unyielding clarity. Emma, you must return. Sorrow flooded me like a rising tide threatening to drown. How could I leave this truth unveiled before me, this clarity so pure and piercing, for a world so dim, so blind to its own loss and need? He touched my heart with a gentle hand, and peace surged through me like a warm current, purpose igniting within like a flame kindled anew from embers long buried. You've seen it all unfold, he said, his voice a quiet, resolute command that steadied me. Now you must speak. The glow began to fade, golden streams of living essence flowing away, angelic forms shimmering faintly in the distance, his warmth receding like a tide pulling back from shore, as I was pulled inexorably back to flesh's narrow, confining bounds. Pain stabbed sharp as breath rushed into my lungs, my spirit straining against a frame that felt too small, too frail for the vastness I'd borne and witnessed. Monitors beeped in frantic rhythm, voices gasped in shock around me. She was gone for minutes, they cried in disbelief. Yet she's back alive. I knew why. I bore a mission etched deep into my soul, a charge I couldn't refuse, a call to proclaim what I'd seen. Days crept by in a haze before I could voice what I'd seen. The world felt slow, oppressively heavy, my spirit wrestling to fit back into its old, fragile husk after glimpsing the boundless beyond. But one truth blazed within me like a relentless beacon. I couldn't stay silent, couldn't hoard this revelation in my chest. The world needed to hear it. Black people needed to know they weren't shattered or forgotten by time's cruel hand, but warriors, leaders anointed by God to stand tall in these critical, unfolding times of reckoning. I saw their trials, pain threading through generations like a relentless, unyielding thread, not as weakness or defeat, but as forge marks of resilience, proof they'd been tempered in fire for a purpose divine and unshakable, a destiny unshaken by centuries. Society had fed them lies for too long, distraction's seductive lure pulling them astray, Tales of worthlessness spun with meticulous care, fear's iron grip tightening, tools wielded deftly to bury their power beneath layers of deceit. But that veil was fraying, its threads unraveling fast under truth's weight. The enemy fears the awakened, Jesus had said with piercing, unshakable certainty, for they'll reshape everything with their rising tide. I bear this charge, this urgent burning call. If you hear me now, know you're forged for more than survival, for greatness beyond measure or imagination. Your ancestors' prayers still guard you like an enduring shield. Their strength flows in your veins like a living, pulsing current. You're seen by the divine eye, chosen for a purpose eternal, and the hour calls you to rise with courage unbroken. The world waits, trembling on the edge of change, poised for your voice. Since returning, I've sensed a shift stirring, a quiet rumble as people begin questioning old falsehoods long accepted, young black souls seeking deeper roots in their rich heritage, communities weaving tighter despite the scars of division etched deep into their fabric. This isn't chance or mere coincidence. It's the awakening he foretold, the stirring of something sacred and unstoppable. For too long, a false tale has reigned supreme, that you're powerless, futureless, valued only by what's allowed by a world that fears your rising. But Jesus showed me the truth. You carry a light no shadow can snuff out, a faith the world can't grasp or contain, a strength forged in fire. Your might isn't in pain endured, but in enduring unbroken, and now thriving's your rightful claim, your inheritance to seize with both hands. The enemy's tricks, noise of distraction, greed's hollow pull, division's sharp wedge, aim to blind you to this truth. But the tide turns swiftly now, unstoppable. More hear the call echoing within their bones. It's not just motion or fleeting hope. It's prophecy unfolding before our eyes, a promise breaking free from chains. I feel it deep in my marrow. My dreams twist and turn, with visions I can't yet fully unravel, fleeting whispers of truths still forming in the shadows. And I know I'm not alone in sensing this stirring tide. Many of you feel it too. That subtle pull, that quiet, persistent voice within, urging you towards something greater, a call not born of idle fancy, but of your spirit waking to what it's always known beneath the surface of your days. The awakening has begun, a tide rising slow but sure, unstoppable as dawn. Jesus made it clear with a weight that pressed upon me. Time is no endless well, no boundless reserve to squander. I asked what he meant, my mind expecting dates carved in stone or dire omens of ruin. But he gave me something deeper, more piercing. A vision of doors swung wide open, countless portals of shimmering light, stretching beyond sight. Some stepped through boldly, embracing the glow with hearts alight, while others hesitated, uncertain or gripped by fear's cold hand. And worse still, some turned away entirely, lost to the world's clamor, blind to the chance laid bare before them, deaf to its summons. These doors won't stand open forever, he said, his words sharp with an urgency that cut through me, a plea woven with warning, heavy with the stakes at hand. This isn't just about saving souls. It's a mission, a seismic shift in the fabric of things, demanding you wake before the chance slips through your fingers like sand. I saw what lingers if you wait too long. Shadows swelling thick and suffocating, division deepening into chasms, battles lost. Not for lack of might, but because too few saw. They were warriors in the fray, called to stand. Yet hope flared too, a band of souls stepping bold into their call, standing as an unshakable wall against the storm, mighty not by wealth or fleeting rank, but by faith reclaimed and wielded like a blade. At their heart stood black people, the ones the world tried hardest to silence with chains and scorn, leading with a fire no force could quench, a light no darkness could swallow. They must not fear, Jesus said, his voice steady and resolute. They must walk through while the way's clear. Waking in that sterile room, surrounded by cold walls and beeping machines, I felt the crushing weight of what I'd seen. How could one voice, frail and small, stir a people to this truth, that they're chosen for greatness beyond measure? But his last words steadied me like an anchor in a tempest. You don't make them believe, Emma. Just speak what you've seen. So I do, and the choice falls to you now. I don't know who'll hear, who'll wake in time to heed this. But if one soul recalls their purpose, reclaims their call, it's enough to shift the tide. You were made for more than this world's dim offerings, born with a call it can't break or bury, a strength forged in your bones. Will you step through the door while it stands open?